What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's a very special edition of the Countdown to the Geekcast. My name is Ted, aka Steady. With me is my partner in crime, Retro Ray,
What's going on, guys? To
and
be
we have
back
a
again.
very special guest that we're interviewing today. Plenty of things to talk about. It's the one, the only Todd Stashwick. What's going on, brother?
I'm still jamming in my head to your retro synth geek intro. It's making me very happy.
Well, we'll play it again afterwards, and we'll do some fist pumping and all that stuff.
I want it on vinyl.
That would be amazing. That'd be amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. You've
for having
been
me.
in the headlines a lot recently. The first
What
thing
an-
we're going to talk to you about that we cannot let go of because it's just around the corner. The final season of Star Trek Picard airs on February 16th, which is 10 days away. And you, sir, have found yourself in one of the captain's chairs. So we're gonna have to start off with this.
Well, the captain's chair, but whatever. Don't worry
the
about
captain's
that.
chair. Tremendous. I can't wait. You are playing, and this is in the news, so I can say this part at least. You are playing Captain of the USS Titan, Liam Shaw, and
That is I.
want to know what was your approach into playing this role, and how does one prepare to play a Starfleet captain?
Well, I enrolled in the Navy, so that I served 2 terms. How does one prepare? So what was the question again? So how does one prepare to be a Starfleet captain? Well, first I read the script and I see what it is that they are asking of me. Second, I have chats with the producers and the writers and go, okay, find out the backstory of this guy and understand kind of where he's coming from. And then you start kind of Frankensteining the character and finding who and what he is on his feet. Obviously, I have been a lifelong Trek fan, so I kind of understood the tone of what they're going for, as well as I had a very long, steady relationship with Terry Matalis. Not just friendship, but we were collaborators on 12 Monkeys. So, and then other writers of the show, Chris Monfett, Sean Trutter. There's such great writers, and I highlight those because they were on 12 Monkeys. They were in the writers' room for 12 Monkeys. So I had a very easy collaborative relationship with them. So I had all the information I need to get off to the races. And then once you get on set and you start actually making things with people and you're doing the scenes with Jonathan and with Jerry and with Patrick, the character is going to change on his feet in performance. So it is a multi-stage process in which there's preparation and then execution. So and as far as like playing a Starfleet captain, I think I just played this character, right? My job is to play the truth of the character, and then the moments that we're actually performing with each other and doing the scenes. There wasn't. I did I did do my research as understanding, what kind of ship I have, what is the complement, what is who is my crew, and just so that I have a working knowledge of my position on the bridge and within Starfleet as a whole, just so that I kind of have a gestalt, and then I built who he was based on who he was before we meet him, like all of his, the backstory that I got to play with leading up to it. That's a very long-winded answer to a very simple question.
No, actually, the reason why I wanted to ask you that is because this is, I'm kind of guessing because you are a lifelong Star Trek fan, this has more weight to it for you. You take probably personal responsibility of not only
But
being truthful to this character, but being truthful to this entire IP, to this entire franchise. Am I
well,
wrong?
you can't play Star Trek. I can only play a
Right.
character, right?
Sure, sure,
Um,
sure.
that being said, and I've had the good fortune, whether it's between writing or acting, to be able to participate in IPs that franchises that mean a lot to me. So I understand that we become stewards. We are custodians of something that existed long before I got here and will exist long after my toe is dipped in the pond. And so I have to deliver it. I have to deliver my piece of the puzzle with truth and heart and respect, and also forget all of that and just do the scene, right? Like, I heard a story once. Somebody was working on a project, and the director went up to them and they said, "Quit being in Star Wars. Just play the character." And you know what I'm saying? Like, we could get in our own way in a huge
Sure.
way as fanboys of things. Again, I was 8 years old when I saw Star Wars. My first action figures were Kirk, Spock, and McCoy in 1974. You could get in your own way very easily and play at
Sure.
what you think Star Trek is,
Yep.
or you could just do the scene with the people you're in the scene with, which to me is the best way to service the material.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I
You're
appreciate
going to
that a
get
lot.
long-winded answers,
I love
guys.
it. I
I'll
love
be
it.
honest with you.
Bring it.
And it's brought to you by LaCroix. Or this isn't LaCroix. This is Waterloo. Oh.
So I have to ask the young Todd, when you got it started in this career, you first wanted to be a comic book artist. You went from there into acting, going to school into acting. Looking back as a geek and a sci-fi fan, you being offered this role, did you consider ever as a kid, like, okay, 30 years from now, I'm going to be a captain in Star Trek? How did you feel
100%.
internally?
Are you
How did
kidding
you
me?
feel?
That's always the goal, right? No, I mean, the joke is, it's like if you had told 12-year-old Todd Stashwick that someday he'd be a Starfleet captain, I would say, yeah, that totally tracks. No, you know what? Our jobs kind of find us, right? We if we stay open-hearted, available, and you keep your, it's like, I stay ready so I don't have to get ready.
There you go.
It is a dream. It is a dream job. It's an absolute dream job. Look, I was pretending to do Star Trek when I was 6. So, and now at 54, I'm pretending to do Star Trek again. Like, so is it a job that I've been getting ready for my entire life? One could say.
Absolutely.
But the reality is, there's always the jobs that you want to do in your life. You go, God, wouldn't it be fun if I could be in Starfleet, be on Tatooine, wouldn't that be fun? And so that is, you never assume that anything is going to be anything. I don't assume that I'm going to be working next week. I don't know. I don't know. What you do is you stay open, and it's a little bonkers that somehow the fabric of my life wove this piece of cloth that I had worked with Terry on 12 Monkeys, and then he suddenly became the showrunner of Picard, and then there was an opportunity for a role that made sense to have me play. You can't plan for that. So that kind of serendipitous fate is way outside my purview of understanding. I just stay humble to the wheels of my career, and people often ask, "What do you want to do next?" And I said, "The thing that I don't see coming,"
Ooh,
because
very nice.
I didn't know that this was down the road. Like I said, if you told 12-year-old me, I would have gone, "Yeah, of course I'm going to be a Starfleet captain. That's all I'm meant to do." Like, I don't know. Like, I believe, and it's the 12-year-old kid that believed that stuff that sets the stage for the grown man that finds himself in that chair.
Absolutely. I love that thought process. And I for one, am a very big proponent of sort of visualizing sometimes your future. And
I
I
mean, we
think that that does add to it in a number of ways, but there's no way to really quantify that.
I I will say I love working in genre because it's what I consume the most of as an actor. Um, do I know which version of genre I'm going to get to play in? I don't. I mean, I had the opportunity to write one of the drafts of Suicide Squad 2. I was
Oh,
working on a Star Wars game for 3 years, writing in it and working with some amazing people. Uh, I'm currently writing on a Captain America Black Panther video game for Skydance New Media and Marvel. I'm writing on that. I could never go, of course I'm doing those things. Of course I am. Like, all I can say is, of course of course I am, in that I had the opportunity early on to work in genre shows, and I did my best in them, and that led to more work in more genre shows, and then the foundations of my life. I've consumed a lot of genre. I've read comic books my whole life. I have watched Star Trek and Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Ghostbusters, and like, I'm an 80s kid. Um, so the so there's so much in this world that I am not suited to do, but this I am. You know what I
You
mean?
excel
Like,
at it. Yeah, absolutely.
a carpenter doesn't do ironwork, and ironwork isn't a lawyer. Like, we all do our thing. This is the area that I have been fortunate enough to find a good deal of employment in.
I love it. And I'm gonna take one step back to something you mentioned, because it was on my list of things to bring up. So yes, there was an announcement of a Black Panther Captain America game based during World War II. You are on that writing team. I dare not
Yeah.
ask what the game is about or what happens in it, but I will ask you, what has been maybe your experience on the game, or how fulfilling is it to be a part of writing what appears to be a massive epic game?
Well, what my experience has been wonderful. I've had the good fortune of working with Amy Hennig, who created Uncharted. I was part of Uncharted 4 for a hot minute. That things didn't work out ultimately, but it forged a friendship and a working relationship with Amy Hennig. She brought me over to EA, where we were working on a Star Wars game together, Project Ragtag. Um, and then again, as these things go, that project didn't reach the finish line, but we worked for 3 years on that, and very proud of the work and the relationships and the friendships. And we got to work with Lucasfilm. That then leads to now working on this Captain America Black Panther game for Skydance New Media. And the most rewarding thing is working with Amy and the team at Skydance, and then really special, we got to, our writers' room was made up of some of the greatest, minds at work right now in genre. Kayla Cooper, who has, Megan is one of the number one horror films out there right now, and she wrote that. And Mark Bernardin, who has a short film that's making the circuit, and he wrote on Picard season 2.
Wow.
Evan Narcisse, who wrote Black Panther comics. Nicole Levy, who worked on, I believe, Cloak and Dagger. So
Dream team right there.
it was a dream team like I said, I always love being the dumbest guy in the room. And so I just got surrounded by just top tier, top notch storytellers. And it was such a treat. It was such a treat. And those writing rooms are very special. Yeah.
In 10 words or less, generalize or just give us a
Have
quick
you met me?
overview. I'm saying because
Come
you
on.
can't talk any details, generalize how big or how amazing this game is going to be.
Say the normal size of big is the size of a Twinkie. You see where I'm going with this.
I see what you're going with this. I love it.
I never hesitate to throw in a good Ghostbusters reference. That's
Woo.
a big Twinkie.
That's a big Twinkie.
It is. You know, its heart is huge. You know what I'm saying? The heart. It feels like home. Like,
wow.
You know, I came up with the old series, and then after college, Next Gen was an appointment television. I consumed all of the films, you know, Kirk and that crew, and then the Next Gen films. This one shows how much the people that love it. It's made by people that love Star Trek, and Star Trek. We are, you know, custodians of like I said, a something that is larger than all of us, and I think that shows in every frame. The care and love and consideration and passion. That's more than 10 words. Was put into. It's my wife's birthday. She's sneaking into the nerd lair here.
Oh my gosh! Happy birthday! We have to stop.
I have keys, baby.
We have to stop everything now. Say happy birthday.
This is my beautiful wife's birthday today.
Hello and happy birthday! Tremendous.
They can't hear it. They just wished you a happy birthday.
And tell her thank you for letting us borrow you on her birthday.
Oh, they can hear you. You can't hear them. So thank you for letting. They just thanked you for letting you borrow me for your birthday.
He has to ask permission.
I do.
Yeah.
Bye, baby. You off?
Keys.
You need those. Okay. My keychain. My keychain has.
Of course it does. Of course. Of course.
Bye, baby. She is a writer. She writes science fiction, horror, fantasy. Very talented woman.
I could see why you guys are married. Perfect match. Well, perfect match right there.
She puts up with me. you know when you have a glass case filled with Star Wars sideshow figures, and I go, where should I put it? And she goes, the living room. You know, you married the right person.
There you go. She's a keeper right there. You got to put a ring on it.
25 years of marriage.
There you go. Congrats, Ray. What else you got, man?
Oh, to touch bases, you are a Doctor Who fan.
Big one.
Disney with Doctor Who being acquired by Disney.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself possibly wanting to roll in the Doctor Who universe?
I'd like to play the Doctor.
Ooh.
Are you kidding me? Come on. Or the Master.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, that's the role.
I could see that.
I would love to play the Doctor. Chris Monfett, one of the producers and writers of he was on 12 Monkeys, and he's also Picard season 3. You should have him on. He's also a great person to chat with. He's a huge Whovian. Huge. And we've often dove deep. My favorite Doctor is Chris Eccleston.
Oh yeah.
I believe his is Tennant. And they're all brilliant.
Sure,
but I loved the kind of the darkness of Eccleston, even though he was sort of bright and sunny all the time. Fantastic. Here's my favorite line in all of Doctor Who, which is Everybody lives, Rose, just this once. Everybody lives. I just love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big Doctor Who fan myself. I'm like
Yeah.
you. I take everything in. I don't just focus on genres. So I'm the same way. I love Doctor Who. I helped actually work with comic artists who did the 2 comic pieces they put together. It has
That's
all
great.
the doctors when they're introducing the new comic. But as you being an actor, doing you had was it a play that you had running in the UK?
I directed. So I created an improv group a long ago. I was in Second City, Chicago. We brought Second City, Chicago to Scotland. While I was there, I saw an amazing physical theater comedy group called Rejects Revenge. I became fast friends with them. I stole everything I could from them. I went back to the States in New York. I formed an improv group inspired by the work that I saw them do, but they weren't improvisers. They wrote shows. And I like, I want my improv show to look like their written show. So I started doing this group called Burn Manhattan in New York. Then some of them came to New York, taught classes for them. Then I went to Liverpool and taught them how to improvise a show like the one that they inspired. And then they toured it all over the UK. It was a group called Hoof. So lots of international cross-pollination.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
amazing.
Thanks.
You are no stranger to comic book universes. You once played Richard Sionis on the Gotham TV series.
I
Yeah,
was
that
the
first
Black
season
Mask. Yeah.
was amazing. You also had people take notice when you mentioned out in the social media world that you were interested in potentially playing Lobo in a
Come
future
on.
DC
Come
project.
on.
I can see you doing that. Have you? I mean, how much do you want to play Lobo, or are there any other DC characters that you would also be willing to play?
I'm starting a workout routine called Road to Lobo, where I'm gonna yeah.
Bump up. There
I
you go.
think look, James will come to his senses
Yeah.
and he'll reach out and be like, Todd, sorry we made you wait so long. Here are your space dolphins.
Yes.
You're the main man.
The main man.
I would love. I mean, look, that would be a dream role, and I think I could have a lot of fun with that role, and I think it would be a fun, unexpected portrayal. And they keep spelling my name wrong. They keep spelling it Momoa, and I don't know why.
I don't understand it.
In relationship to Lobo, but any other DC characters I would like to play? I'll have a crack at an aging Bruce Wayne someday. I would like that. Other characters that I would like to play, I'd love to play Spider. Is it Spider Jerusalem from Transmetropolitan? I would love to play that character. Put me anywhere. Neil Gaiman, if you're watching this, put me in Sandman anywhere.
Oh yeah, dude, I can see you in definitely.
I would
Sandman.
love to. I would love to play in that universe. Sandman, between Sandman and Lord of the Rings, those are my 2 favorite pieces of literature. So I would love to dance in those universes. Yeah.
That's interesting. So I didn't know this about you. I mean, it's probably something I should have assumed. This Lord of the Rings series that just came out with Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, yeah.
They've of course took some liberties because I think as writers there's sometimes the obstacles of trying to have the entire audience on the same playing field. So you change names,
It's hard.
yeah, it's difficult, and I think sometimes you want to do that, other times you just make a straight adaptation. But being a Lord of the Rings fan, how much did you appreciate the changes they made, or did it sort of disappoint you a little bit?
It felt Tolkien to me. So the minutia, I know people had problems with it. I just was taken away by it. I was immersed in it. I found it beautiful. I thought it was cast wonderfully, and I thought it was a really interesting take and diving into these characters and these relationships. The relationship between Elrond and Durin, just, and getting to see Khazad-dûm in its prime, like I was in with both feet.
Yeah.
I am not a Tolkien scholar by any stretch of the imagination. I am this close to finishing the Silmarillion. But I don't find I'm not precious with it in the way that other people are. And I think they got the tone right. It felt like an extension of the Jackson films.
Absolutely.
It worked for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
So your D&D table, iconic D&D table. So how did you come up with that? Oh, nice. You're actually nice.
Right there.
It is gorgeous. The pictures are just awesome. Did you come up with the idea, or did you?
So the oh, there it is. Nice. Yeah. So the artist that makes these, Michael Jimenez, he has a company called Weather Dragon, and he builds another table called the Harbinger, and it's a higher, it's like bar stool height, and it's just a few inches bigger. It's just, but in order to fit in my nerd lair, I'm like, I said, the Harbinger won't fit. He goes, well, what if we designed a table to your specifications? We will call it the Stashwick. It'll literally have your signature on it. Nice. And it'll be built for your room, but people can also buy their own Stashwick table and have it in theirs. And so he and I then knuckled down and said, okay, what do you want to retain from the Harbinger, and what new things would you add? And so we got to work, and he, redesigned it and formatted it to fit into my nerd lair here. And now it's for sale. If you go to theweatherdragon.com, you can buy it, or you can link to it through my company, the Nerd Circus.
Nerd Circus. Yeah. There you go.
Yes, sir. I do love what you did with the Nerd Circus.
Thank you.
The pretty keep rolling. That is iconic from back in the day.
Keep on rolling, yeah. Well, keep on. It was a sort of a take on keep on trucking. It's I wanted to. Well, the whole vibe of the Nerd Circus, the company that I started during the pandemic, the whole vibe is what was it like to play D&D back in the late 70s? And we always played it in wood paneled rooms with orange shag carpet. You can see that picture, the orange shag carpet that the Stashwick table sits on. And so I always wanted to vibe everything like that. So I sell glasses that feel like those old Burger King glasses that you would get for Star Wars or Star Trek. I have little Mai Tai glasses. I wrote a book, and I co-created it with a man named Brendan Cleeley, who was a former Imagineer. It is tiki drinks, but they're kind of Dungeons and Dragons themed tiki drinks, and there's a playable adventure at the back of it. There's new characters, there's short stories, there's a lot of art, and over 100 recipes for drinks to play and make for your table while you're drinking. So this, it's all sort of part of the same thing. It all kind of comes back to the same thing, which is, the life is about play. It's about playing. We work hard, and we, keep our family safe so that we can gather and tell stories and play. That's why we do all that, in my opinion, is we celebrate life by being playful about things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if anybody was curious, you were referencing Mystic
book.
Libations, which
That's
looks
yep.
awesome. And they
It's a
can
good
find
book.
this on the Nerd Circus.
Nerdcircus.com, the nerdcircus.com. Yeah, that's where I sell my books and t-shirts and glasses and all of that fun nerdy stuff.
What other stuff are you working on, like writing wise?
Well, I'm writing this Captain America Black Panther game currently. That's one of my jobs. I will do that after we get off the interview.
Oh, nice.
So that that I've been working on that for quite some time. So I will go back to work on that, and then developing stuff, developing comic books and screenplays and all of that stuff. But they're all in various stages of development. Yeah.
So you believe, well, back in the day, being a geek wasn't as cool as it is now. Did you ever see?
Nobody told me it wasn't cool.
Well, for me and you, yeah. I mean,
we felt
it was
great
like back then. Yeah, and now everyone else is.
They're just catching up to us.
Exactly. It's kind
of. By
the
way, I don't know when it wasn't cool, because Star Wars was certainly cool. It was the number one film of all time for a good long time. How is that not cool? People were wearing Star Wars t-shirts back in 77, 78, 79. Like, it was cool. But I know what you're saying. Like the classic, the geek gets sand kicked in his face, and Dungeons and Dragons was something you just played in the basement with your fellow nerds, and you didn't talk about it with other people. And now it is the culture, and Comic-Con is the culture. So I know what you're saying.
That's pretty cool, man.
Oh,
absolutely. Todd, I know you have a lot going on. You have a video game to write and many other things to talk about regarding Star Trek Picard. So I will get you out of here on this final question as we see your shot in the recently released trailer.
Is it about how I'm holding the fork?
Not at all. But you've been a huge Star Trek fan your entire life. I mean, what does it mean to you to not only be in a Star Trek project, but it's the final season of Picard, and you're working alongside other legends in this, like Sir Patrick Stewart? What does it mean to you as a lifelong fan?
Well, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a cooler situation. It means a ton to me to be able to give back into something that meant so much to me, and again, hopefully be for some other 7-year-old kid that kind of joy and inspiration and fire in their soul that gets them to go dream, and forget your troubles for an hour at a time.
Nice.
I love it. Beautiful. Todd Stashwick, live long and prosper. Thank you so much for joining us here today. The next season, the final season of Picard, drops on Paramount Plus on February 16th. Good luck to you, and we can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Be well.
You too, sir. You too, sir.
Cheers.